It already played.
Hey y'all, today we are back for another live edition, and Corey came back for a round two, so that we could BS some more. And Brian, myself, James, welcome to Straight Hook Fishing live edition. Today's a little more off script. We're gonna be a little more BSing.
We're gonna be everywhere.
We're gonna be a little bit of everywhere, but it's gonna be good though. We've already been starting off the beginning. We got a couple of baits in us.
Baits deep.
We're ready to go.
You know, the baits really help.
The baits definitely help flow
the conversation.
the BS amount.
I'm telltale of that. The first time I came in baits deep, you noticed that online, right?
I noticed.
You're like, what's wrong with that dude? Right?
I was right there with you. I was like, I gotta catch up.
That's why I'm sitting there. And he's got a whopper plopper and just spinning it.
I was waiting for it to go through his thumb.
You know, I have problems.
Yeah, that's what happens.
ADHD, couple baits deep. I actually went to a bar and it was prior to coming here. I came straight here from the bar.
I got warmed up.
I got warmed up.
What's
5
happening,
days
Big John?
deep. Yeah. Talk about my driver right there. He was the one who drove me here. What's going on, Getsy?
Getsy.
What's happening, Getsy?
And yes, Rachel, I'm 2 in now. I definitely needed it. I didn't tell you guys about that, but yeah, I definitely needed a couple beers.
I think the topic we're going to start off with today is actually going to be MLF.
Ooh.
And the rules change that they had with the single period scope. Does it help? Did it not help? Is it fun to watch? Is it not fun to watch? All that conversation.
So we can put our personal opinions into this?
This is all personal opinion. If you don't agree with it, it's personal opinion. It's just how we're taking it as it is. I up front said that I watched a lot of the Conroe, which is the first one, stage one. I did not watch as much because work's a little busy for stage 2, which was St. John's. Did you get to watch any of it?
No.
Yeah, he actually works.
Yeah, I actually work for a living.
I usually have it playing in the background. I actually hear the audio. I don't get to watch the video. I get to hear the audio.
Yeah.
Did you watch both of them?
Bits and pieces of both of them, but I'm kind of the same as you. I would just kind of have them on the background or pop in on my lunch break and see what's going on.
My problem is where I work,
Marlon.
Where I work,
You're not
I don't get
allowed.
well, one, I don't get allowed to have cell. But 2, I don't get cell service. So I do have a phone, but I don't get cell service where I'm at. So I walk to the front of my office and my phone goes crazy and I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
So
we had been asked in a live, I think it was the last live actually, to weigh in on the MLF stuff. That is not the only topic of tonight.
No.
That's just what we're going to start with for those who don't know about the MLF. So basically the premise of MLF is, for those who don't know, 4-day tournament. Day 1 and day 2, top 20 weights out of 66 proceed to day 3. The top weight of that top day 1 and day 2 gets to have the choice to skip day 3 and go straight to day 4. And then they take the top 9 or 10, depending on that person's decision, and day 3 goes to the final day. Weights reset after 1 and 2, and then they reset again after 3. And then it's basically a 1-day shootout in 10 people on day 4. Yep. 10 boats, 10 anglers, 1-day shootout.
So you're telling me if on day 1 and 2, if you get enough fish or enough weight that you could go to day 4, you're guaranteed money.
Yeah, you're guaranteed top 10
rankings
money if you cross. That's why you would want to skip day 3. My problem
because you could get cut at day 3.
You could get cut.
You're very good.
Yeah, if you qualified for number 1 after day 2, and you decide to fish day 3, because that is an option, and you get cut, you gypped yourself out of money.
Yeah.
So most people are going to
That's 10
skip.
places though, right? Like, so say if you go on day 3 and you do the worst, it's the worst day, you're just off your game,
Your
and you
fish
get
move,
20th
whatever.
place, you already had a shot at 10 or better.
Yeah. So most everyone, I don't think anyone has not taken the I
jump.
don't think they call it bypass. What do they call that? Qualification. I don't think anybody's not taking the qualification. But my thing with it is, with the weight zeroing, if you burn all your fish to get to somewhere, you've already burned all your fish.
Right.
Well, hold on.
So basically,
They're pros though.
but
How are they burning
basically-
fish?
Basically, the best way to win it, if you can, is to be 20th place after day 2, 10th place after day 3, and catch all your fish on day 1, or day 4, sorry. On day 4 is technically, that is the way to win without having to burn all of your fish.
Do just enough to get by.
Just enough to get by.
So I got my degree.
So if you look at
That's how I got my job too. Diploma.
if
That's it.
you look at Conroe stage 1, most people were able to get to the next checkpoint before the final day with their 1 scope period. They didn't really have to catch fish outside of the scope period.
So they're only allowed 1 scope period?
That would be the other angle of this, dare I say, game, not tournament.
Oh, it's a game now.
It's a game. It's not a tournament anymore. It's definitely, I will say this, they've separated from Bassmaster and NPFL and all them, because it's a game. It's not per se a tournament anymore.
I agree with that.
Well, so riddle me this. Did they do anything when side scan came out?
Well,
They
they
changed
did
anything?
not exist when SideScan came out. MLF did not exist then. Was there almost the same exact complaints? Should we call them complaints? Complaints about SideScan when people got it and learned how to use it, as there is for this. Their problem is, back then when SideScan came out, a lot of the older crowd wasn't adapting to it. The younger crowd did adapt to it. Again, there was a price margin and there was stubbornness going on. And now, all of the pros, this time, all the pros had forward scan, but they didn't figure it out as quickly as the younger generation, who basically took that whole rule book of fish do this at this time and fish do that at that time,
Right.
and put it away. They never learned the rule book. And all these older generation, which, I mean, in all reality, we're right there on that feather line between them, all of us.
Whoa, did you just call me old?
Yeah. You're old enough to know what it's like to fish without forward scan.
I'm old enough to know what it's like to fish without GPS too.
Yeah. 100% lining
Throwing
up.
the buoy out.
You know,
Hey,
it's actually,
I know there's a hump right here,
So
still
here's
have
a-
a buoy in my boat.
right?
You'd be proud.
here's
I am
a
proud.
fun fact. I do not have a spot on Clear Lake that's a rock pile that's marked, because I know how to find it through trees. I don't need to make a GPS mark.
Well,
So, and then that's the same thing. I actually put GPS marks on some of them just so that I could show contour lines, like in my,
Right.
on the map. But I know exactly how to get to them. I don't ever need to look at my GPS, because I just go, oh, there's the tree, there's that, it's right here.
I'll tell you what, being a backseater for many years that I was, that is how I knew where spots were.
Yeah.
Was looking at the land.
Yeah, you got to line up things, and I tell you what, it is nothing is more frustrating is when you line up like a dead tree, right? Because the great thing about dead trees is they stand out compared to the bank.
Yeah.
And you line up that dead tree, and then one winter later, you're
Like
like,
high water year.
dang it, the dead tree fell.
High water year.
Yes.
My tree's gone.
Yeah, where's my tree? And then you're back in the day, it was 2D.
Yeah.
You're back to 2D trying to find that thing.
And 2D, what is it, like 3 foot for every 10 foot of water? So if you're in 20 foot of water, you have a 6 foot band that you're trying to find whatever.
Your circle
is way smaller, right? And you get side scan, you go down the bank, you can do 100 foot out each side and be able to see pretty well. Right.
Fun fact about that. Some of my best Berryessa winter places I found with 2D before I had side scan. And the fun fact about that also is that I thought they were like submerged trees or something, and it was rock cliffs. Once I got side scan, I was like, oh, I was.
Big John says he'll be
wrong.
throwing movies out this weekend.
There you go, Big John.
Well, he doesn't have spot lock, so he's got to get back to where he was.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. If
He doesn't need spot lock. He's got float
If
lock.
we're talking about electronics, right? Spot lock
Amazing.
is the one. If you don't have forward scan and stuff like that, and you don't have spot lock, I would say would be that one that you should go for.
I would say that would be your number one.
That would be
if
the
you're going to
number one.
upgrade any electronics on your boat. If you don't have side scan.
I don't have side scan.
No, I
You
think
don't have side scan?
You know that?
You don't have side scan
I
at
don't
all?
have side scan on my boat.
You're fishing blind.
I got forward scan. That's my side scan.
But side scan helps so
No,
much
I
more
need it.
to
I need it.
like.
I
You
really
do need it. You
I
definitely do
think
need
I
it.
would think okay, so my priorities that I would do would be spot lock, side scan, forward scan, power poles.
So you're telling me right now you would take forward scan off of your boat if it meant you had side scan?
There's a lot of fish that I've caught from side scan.
Yeah.
Like you can understand how
Like
an area
the steps up.
so it helps you.
I would agree with that.
So forward scan you can see everything, but side scan lets you know how that area sets up. And you can understand where they're moving up and down through side scan. Mapping
But you have to put mapping into the side scan.
in California,
You have to put mapping
California,
before
the
the side
mapping
scan.
isn't as good as back east. I've seen the mapping back east. There's so much more focused on the back east areas
True.
that those mappings are half-foot contours.
Well, we're a foot. That's
We're a
not
foot,
bad.
but tell me that we're even close at Comanche.
Well,
How many islands are in Comanche that just show it's a flat? Like it says it's a flat ground. I've just learned at Comanche, if you're looking at your topo and it says that it's flat ground, there's an island there.
I guess he says choose it or lose it.
There you go.
This is actually a choose it or lose it topic that we're getting into.
So for me, obviously the side scan helps you find a bunch of stuff. That's great.
Yes.
The mapping, that's really important for me, especially if I'm breaking down something new that I don't know.
Right.
You can go find high percentage areas quick. It's fantastic. But with forward scan, how many times do you pull up and you're like, oh, there's a point, they should be right here. There's
So
a couple
how do
there, but you pan out with forward scan out here and you end up finding bigger, better quality or a big school of fish. If you only had mapping, you're probably not gonna as often go cast out way out here.
So how did you break
So
down
that's why-
Rollins Lake then?
Rollins Lake?
Yeah.
Down imaging.
Only down, no
My
side?
lake's so small, I just zigzagged across the whole thing.
I thought you were side scanning the thing the whole time.
I was using down imaging.
Oh my
I don't-
gosh.
I don't know.
And mapping.
Hey!
I don't know how he did it.
This mamma jamma was out there with a cane just stabbing around, hoping to hit the wall.
I was using
You're old, bro.
I thought you were side scanning it
No, I
because you
don't
drove
side
the
scan.
whole lake in a
It is.
day, which is small enough.
I
It's
figured
900
out,
acres.
I figured out in that one arm what was happening.
Holy,
So when I came back to the other arm, I already knew where they were gonna be.
that's crazy that you did that with down imaging.
Well, you
Talk
were
about
with me
doing it
when
the
we
hard
did
way.
side imaging that one day when we did a 4-hour video and we were coming back and we were like, oh, look at all these fish over there, right?
Yeah.
Like for side imaging, it helps.
No, it does help. I wish I had it in my boat. I've used it a lot too. In other
How do you not have it?
Just when I bought my boat,
Didn't put the puck on.
priorities. It was just,
And you haven't utilized perspective either.
I have, I'm just not good at it. I guess I'm in the Stone Age, huh?
You're in the Stone Age.
You have spot lock though.
I have spot
You
lock. and I have
do have spot lock.
Hey, that spot lock. I'm telling you, when I bought my boat,
It's an Ultrex, but we won't hold that against you.
yeah. Well, when I got my boat, I had an Altera on the front, right? Self-deploying.
Yeah, I don't want to hear nothing.
I had a self-deploying. Though I was at that point, I was like, okay, I got the money. Am I going to spend it on a new trolling motor at this point in time, or do I want forward-facing sonar? Which I've been fishing with James this whole time, and I was like, how can I not have forward-facing sonar?
With active target.
Right.
Every time, yeah.
How can I not have forward-facing sonar right now? Even though the Altera does spot lock, old Charles, it was a challenge.
Hey, you guys want? Okay, we're gonna talk about. So his Altera was called Charles.
Yeah, I called it Charles.
Okay, he calls it Charles. Okay. So an Altera doesn't have like a foot pedal that swings back and forth. It has basically a push button when you push forward and a push button when you push back.
Yes.
So it doesn't really have a sensitivity of going slow. It's you just push it and it goes.
Yes.
The other half of that is you push it and it goes about that fast.
Yeah.
So then I jump on the front. I'm used to being able to throw it in reverse, turn hard corners, but man, I was hitting rocks, poles, docks.
He had all sorts of shit.
And I literally just be heading towards the bank and I'll be like, hey, we're going to bump. Just bump.
And then on top of it, Charles, every once in a while, Charles would be just like, hey, we're done fishing here. And stow.
Time to get out.
Yeah, because it was auto. It had or motor stow, and you'd be fishing and it's just ring, 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 wong, 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 wong.
I guess it's time to leave. Charles says it's time to go. We go.
So you know how slow Charles would move side to side?
Yeah.
Yes.
You fished with me with Charles.
I did.
Yes,
That's how I feel when I'm in your boat, when I'm trying to find my bait.
with the
Because of how much slower.
James fixed his.
see. Oh yeah, by the way,
I love the
I
control.
found my problem.
I
It gets
never
faster
go
and
past my
quieter.
bait, but
Hey,
it took a long time to get.
he had a problem.
Oh, did you?
No, so actually no, he fished with me before that problem. Maybe not.
I haven't been in your boat.
So I found an adjustment on the Ghost through having to do a factory reset on my Ghost, and then I was going through the adjustment process. There is a thing, I don't even remember what it was called, but if your Ghost is making a lot of noise when you turn, like I call it R2D2, it makes noises. If R2D2 is screaming at you pretty loud and not just a quiet mumble, go into your factory reset adjustments and go through that whole, I think there's like 3 or 4 processes to go through. Go through that, and you'll find out that R2D2 is a lot quieter than he was.
Yeah. Running, turning, all of that.
Doesn't have as much to say now, huh?
No.
Yeah, he's way quieter.
Boy.
So it has something to do with so it's a stepper motor basically.
Yeah.
And this whole time it's been adjusted as a different step out of the stepper motor. So it's self-adjusting itself. So basically the whole time while you're turning, it's fighting to find its spot. When you adjust it, it just goes exactly to where it's supposed to go in the clock. And that's why it's not making extra noises.
His has always been louder than mine.
Yeah, mine's been screaming at me.
Yeah.
It did kind of deploy at 70 miles an hour once.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had to replace some parts, and it really screamed at me after that.
Yeah. And then he hit the dock with it.
I've done-
You said 70 miles an hour?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You put it in someone else's boat?
No, I just didn't have you in it.
That's good. That's a good 3 miles an hour right there.
Hey, Vic, Paul says that Victor contacted him and let him know that there's a decontamination appointments available at Market Cove now.
I got me one today.
Did you? Nice.
Schedule.
And then
Because you're
Big
going
John,
further.
Big John also said that Corey, you're his hero.
Oh yeah. That's right. Thanks, Big John.
What's going on, Mallock?
And Matlock checking in.
Yeah. But yeah,
What did he say? Shots fired.
yeah. Shots.
They're slowing the boat down.
It's all right.
It is what it is. I'm telling you, I use we fished the BAM tournament together, and I used 2 different props. And I don't know why, I just could only get 1 speed, 2 different props.
Because of me, probably.
Still,
You got some good lift out of that thing, though.
oh, it's still
impressive.
It's got a lot of lift.
Yeah, it got a lot of lift.
It's got
But my wife's probably watching. But I've been seeing a bunch of the 520 VXs that I have
3 powers.
repowered with the Merc 225s and doing really well. Really
Yeah, like
well.
you're picking
Like,
up like 8 miles an hour.
yeah,
Oh,
full tournament load. Running.
Just switching the 4-stroke though, so.
Yeah, no more. I don't have
It's
to buy
only
oil.
like, well, 225 is a little bit less, but you know,
It will
It's only
save
like
you on fuel.
20 something grand.
Only 20 grand though.
That's it.
Abort. Abort. She's gonna be start going, car first. Car for her first.
But why? But we're kind of.
Should we get back to the MLF
Yeah,
side?
back to MLF. Why are we doing 1 period of forward-facing sonar if that's the technology that is at level currently? Why? Right? Like, why are we going backwards when that's what the technology is? Technology is only going to go up, right? Like, if I'm going to do stocks for my 401, 457, whatever, for my retirement, I'm going to go technology because technology always prevails, right? It always goes up.
So
why are we stepping back?
So basically, my opinion, this is directly my opinion. You can throw me on the stakes and put me on the grill. MLF is owned by fishermen who started their own league.
Fish and boat docks.
And a lot of these fishermen did not adapt this new technology, but they have control of the helm on top of there's other people who did that.
So we're
So they're able to, they don't want to completely eliminate it because if you completely eliminated it, that eliminates your sponsorship, in my opinion, for the electronics companies because this is the number 1 selling thing. So they would be cutting off the hand that feeds them to save their own career. So they're trying to ride the fine line. So they put in 1 period, you can use it, 2 periods, you can't use it. Thinking that in that you'd be able to cripple the people who are really good at it enough that the other 2 periods, you could make up for it in the other 2 periods because you're better at them without it in the end. So my question is, how did that work out for them on Conroe when it was a scope bite?
I think those guys who are really good at scoping, if it doesn't matter, they go into
Another
more
gear.
accelerate. Yeah, no, they grab another gear.
Or as
basically.
Drew Gill calls it, power or a turbo mode.
They go into turbo mode. When they fell on the right fish, they were able to catch so many fish in that period that it didn't matter.
So here's my beef with that. Before, when a fisherman was on, let's just say, we're going to put that, Jacob Wheeler. When Jacob Wheeler is fishing on forward scan, while he's fishing, he's talking about what he's kind of looking at, what he's kind of doing. Now that he's only limited to 1 hour, he probably never said a word unless he was at the scales and then he was like, oh yeah, that joker just bit this thing. And then as soon as he turned back around or dropped that fish in the water, he turned around, never said another word. So now at this point, you will never learn anything more about forward scan while they're using it because they only have it for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So now that third of the day, those people who are catching the fish aren't talking at all. So now here's the other half of that. Period 1 of the 3 periods in that tournament, what was it like over? It was like 75 or 90% of the field was all scoping.
Yeah.
So all fish catches, 80% of the fish catches was caught during the scope hour of whatever angler was using it. 80% of the entire tournament was caught in that basically first hour. Some people had second and third, but it was all in that first hour.
So
So now you are watching content of somebody turning around, not talking, firing out, catching a fish, weighing it in, talk for 3 words, turn back out, cast again, right? No education, no information, all that. Then, when they step outside of that and they're no longer allowed to use forward scan, they are BSing, talking, they're doing all sorts of stuff, and they're talking about how to work a chatterbait.
because they're not catching as many fish.
Keep in mind, if you keep track of it, they went from catching 70 pounds in a 2.5 hour period, or 50 to 70 pounds in a 2.5 hour period, to catching 10 pounds in 5 hours a period. Hey, but they're telling you everything they're doing during that 10 pounds of fish.
So
Which one would you rather see?
So what I'm gathering is that this process, who's running this thing, should have a time period, kind of like our government.
Well, so
That was a good one, though. What?
So the thing about it is, when you have a winter / early spring tournament, scope works.
Yeah.
There's a reason why those scopes happen. Okay. So it limited them so they weren't able to do a complete runaway. There was a guy on day 1 who was able to keep up with the other guys.
I just don't understand why.
On day 1. But I will say this, that same guy kept going to that same exact spot and fishing it over and over, old school style. Never turned on his forward scan the entire tournament. He actually still hasn't. He's fished 2 tournaments, all days, never turned on scope once. And he old school fished it, and he goes, yeah, I caught him really good at this time, but now I've only caught 1 here, 1 there. If he had scope, he would probably realize that the school he caught him on is gone. They moved on.
So, but all these people are pros, and they have sponsors. Why don't they have forward-facing sonar?
They have forward-facing sonar. They just know that they've been outworked, or it just doesn't click for them. It's like crankbaits for me. Crankbaits don't really click for me. I can catch them at Delta on a square bill, and I know how to catch them with Delta on a square bill, hybrid hunter, something like that. But you put me on a lake like Berryessa, and if it's not a square bill bite, I can't tell you how to get bit.
Deep diving crank. Matlock chimed in, is supporting Rachel's abort, and says the Yamaha does well. I've seen it airborne a few times.
Yeah. I think there's some co-anglers that have definitely felt the yeehaw moment. Yeah.
Not in my boat. I have a Cadillac. It stays in the water the whole time.
Yeah, except for the people who were like, hey, buddy, when you went by me, I saw your whole prop and everything.
That's awesome.
Maybe a couple times.
On the Delta.
Definitely on the Delta. The Delta definitely would. The Delta destroyers.
Anything else you want to add on Conroe?
Probably not on Conroe.
I feel like I need another bait.
You need 1 more bait? You're going to go 3 baits deep?
I'm gonna go three bait deep. Why not?
So that would be Conroe, right? Conroe, basically top 10,
Thank you, sir.
scope for 1 hour. Yeah, I'm almost ready. Almost ready.
You can catch up.
Conroe, basically top 10, scope for 1 hour, and then filled in enough bites to qualify on the remaining 2 hours, or sorry, 2 periods. Did anyone from Conroe make it without being big in scope? I don't think so.
I didn't watch enough live coverage to see who was doing what, really.
Because I know that one of them was catching them on chatterbaits. I think it was not Fujita. One of the Japanese anglers.
Chatterbait.
Takumi.
Yeah.
I think Takumi Ito was catching them on chatterbait, but he was also using scope during one of the periods.
That's interesting.
But I think he made it with using chatterbait.
Chatterbait to me, I feel like it's more of a cover bait, right? Like,
yeah, and that's what he was doing. They
were
were
bunch of stuff.
They were all fishing they were all fishing grass, but they were doing it with a jighead minnow.
That would make sense.
They'd slide out a little bit deeper, fish grass with jighead minnow, and then when that period was done, they'd slide in and they'd throw chatterbait and lipless.
And try to hopefully pick up those
And-
fish that were up shallow.
And get the ones that would roll them on the next day.
That brings up another point that I like to talk about sometimes, especially when we're all just talking about how we fish and how we utilize forward-facing sonar. As far as people think you have to be looking at individual fish.
Individual fish with an individual bait.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, a lot of times that's not the case. I use it to find stuff that I didn't know was there, or kind of learn the contours the same way you would use mapping, but you really get a live picture of it.
Yeah.
So I would imagine those guys in the grass, they might have been finding irregularities in the grass, whether it was a depression, a high spot in the grass, fish floating over the grass, there's bait there.
That's actually what Drew Gill in an interview talked about, is that he would actually find the pockets that would, like,
Right.
he could look on scope and see the pocket,
Mhm.
and that's where he would focus on it.
Right. So it doesn't
something
always,
different.
yeah, it's just fine. They always love something different.
Right.
They're always going to be on something different. So that's how I'm assuming that those guys in the grass were probably doing something similar to that.
Now, like James talks about, like it, Clear Lake. This is the first biggest dot to this point. We have to check that.
Yeah, it was like, well, let's go. And I'm like, let's just check this dock. I only want to check this one. And after that, let's go.
Yeah, because it's the first
'Cause
biggest.
If they're going to move in, this is where their first stop is going to be. If there's crickets there and there ain't nothing there, there's nothing after that,
Right.
potentially.
Potentially.
Especially if you already know that they're out here. If you know they're already on the point and you check that first dock and they're not there, you can move on.
Right.
You don't need to check the rest of the docks.
Yeah.
Now, if they're not on the point and you go to the dock, then maybe you need to keep going.
True that.
Now let's get into the complete opposite.
Uh-oh.
St. John's.
Uh-oh.
So St. John's, all right, I'm gonna admit it. I'm not really a Wheeler fan.
What?
Wheeler,
Why not?
Why?
I like him. He's a good dude. But like, I don't know, I'm just not a Wheeler fan. Like, I'm not like a
who are you
fan,
gonna put
but, like,
above him?
I'm not, I don't know, on the MLF side, I'd rather see MDJ do better.
Well, he's local though, so yeah, I get that. But
I mean, he was in the Reapers for 1 year.
he was.
You don't like the way he fishes. You don't like maybe the way he carries himself. Is it?
Yeah. What
is it?
Yeah. What angle puts him
He's-
down?
I don't know. He's kind of a goober.
He is a goober.
He's kind of a goober.
Bro.
And I think that's what puts me off.
Hold
Now,
on.
I will say
Hold on.
this. Hold on. The longer I watch him, the more I actually get to like him. And the same thing for Dustin Connell. I'm not overly a fan of Dustin Connell.
Oh, those are fighting words.
Hold on. You want to know fighting words? You want to know who the number one person that I root to not actually do well is? Junior. Alton Jones Jr.
Why is that?
I don't know. He bugs the crap out of me.
Oh no.
Who's the guy?
And you know what's funny about that list is that all four of that list hangs out with each other, and only one of them I'm like truly rooting for. The other three I'm like, eh. Now, is Wheeler an amazing stick, an amazing fisherman, and it doesn't matter what you do? How many times have they tried to change the rules to
For
stop him? And
Because
he
of him.
just dominates. Dude's a stick.
One underrated thing that I like about Jacob Wheeler is his ability to teach people. Because when you watch him on live, he's telling you what his thought process is.
He's able to break it down.
And he's a very good teacher. So
Yeah.
if you're into
I don't-
watching that stuff, listen to when he talks.
I truly don't have a problem with him. I'm just not like a super fan of him.
You know who my biggest fan is? I'm a fan of.
That you're a fan of?
Yeah.
Who?
Who's the guy that shits off the fucking side of the boat?
Oh, everybody on him.
Yeah.
Matt Robertson.
Matt Robertson.
Yeah.
That dude.
Everyone's number one fan.
That dude. We were at Clear Lake this last weekend,
That's funny.
and
So So for those of you who haven't been catching up on any of that stuff, I've been having boat battery issues,
Yes.
which have been all figured out now. Basically, I had to replace all 5 batteries in my boat.
Yeah.
I have bought 3 of them. 2 of them are not in stock. We're using the boats or the batteries out of Brian's boat this weekend to get through the weekend, and then I'll buy my other 2 batteries when they come in. In the middle of all that, we're fishing a pocket at Clear Lake on Saturday, and Brian's like, man, I could really poop right now, right? And then like 10, 20 minutes later, because we were still like, we just got to this pocket, and he's like, man, I could go right now, right?
It's
So
like
then we get into this, we
it's
get
like
to
go
that,
time.
and then like, he's like, I'm like, all right, let's go. I go back there, I go to hit the start button, and it goes, conk.
Oh no.
And
Bro.
you see him
Sure
go,
panic.
you see him go, oh no.
Sure panic.
So he starts, hey, how does Matt Robertson say you're supposed to poop off the side of the boat?
Hey, I was thinking
And I said,
about
oh, you're supposed to use the seat and all that stuff. And he goes, bro, I might do it.
I knew the GoPro was dead because the battery wouldn't start.
So I rearranged the batteries, got it fired up and all that, dropped him off at the dock, all that. But he definitely was like,
hey,
yeah, I got to go.
straight sweating. Straight sweating. I was. Hey, worst part is we turned to go out and he turns left out of where we're going. And he was like, I was all, where are you going? He goes, State Park. I said, that's that way. We gotta go. Why are we going this way? I said, that's fine. If we want to go that way, we can go that way. But we're going to Canocta Casino.
Yeah.
Go to Canocta Casino. Everybody's there.
Oh, no.
It's bank tournament. So there's people I know up there. So I'm shuffling through, trying to get through there. Hey guys, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Oh,
that's awesome.
but yeah, no, it was.
I'm glad you got to a bathroom, but I'm also not that because I wanted to hear the story about.
Oh, I would have done it in a second. Corey, no. That wouldn't have been my first time. I've done it before and I'll do it again. But yeah, no, that dude, the way he talks, when he talks about that issue, and he's on multiple social medias talking about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
But when he talks about that, he was just a down home, good old boy talking about it's just as comfortable as sitting on your throne at home.
Yeah, he's
Right.
all, I got my phone out.
I got my phone out. I can be playing on my phone while I'm sitting there. I don't even care if somebody's on there or not. I got to take care of business. I'm going to take care of business.
That's awesome.
Right? But that dude, he should be doing better, right? Like he should be.
Matt Robertson is also a swimming guy.
He is a swimming guy.
Which is weird because he's not a West Coast guy.
Right. And most West Coast guys are the swim bait because we have very good bodies of water here to throw big swim baits. And
See, it works back east. I know, like, I've heard podcasts of people throwing them in Florida and stuff like that, where, like, you hear people like, oh, you can't throw them here because of X, Y, Z.
Right. We don't
And
have
then there's somebody else who's like,
yeah,
you go ahead and keep thinking that, buddy.
A lot of some of those southern states too. You think even in the Carolinas and some of those mountain ranges, they're like, "Hey, I think we have trout in our lakes. Maybe we should try that."
Yeah. Let's
it is definitely a thing.
Did you know that they're actually going to plant trout in Florida?
Really?
And the reason why they're able to do it is because the water gets warm enough after a certain point, and any fish that don't get eaten will die off themselves. So that's how they're able to do it without including an invasive species.
That makes sense.
Kind of cool as an experiment.
Even bigger.
Right?
As an experiment, because they're trying to figure out. So, like, if you keep track of Florida, like, they'll get to like 10 pounds. Occasionally, there's a 12, 13-ish, but they never go higher than that. So they're trying to. But if you take those same Florida bass and you put them in California and feed them a bunch of trout, they're giants.
Isn't that Berryessa?
So now they're like, hey, what if we feed them trout in Florida? Will they get bigger in Florida?
So talking about that though, like we've been, as the bass reapers, been planting Florida strain largemouth in Berryessa for years,
When
right?
they allow us, yes.
When they allow us. They will not allow us to do it anymore.
Because they call it an invasive species, even though
So-
they have approved the permits that let us plant those fish in that lake, we can't plant
And
them
we've
again.
planted like 30,000 Florida strain largemouth in Berryessa, which
Thank
makes
you.
Yeah.
Berryessa
Anytime
the
you
way it
catch
is now.
any sort
Thank
of
you.
Florida strain combination or degree, anything that has Florida strain in Berryessa,
Yeah.
that is from
the bass
reapers.
reapers. So now they won't let us plant that, but they'll let us plant trout,
Yeah, that's my
right?
my thing is we can't plant
If
bass.
we can't plant the
But
bass,
what-
let's plant the food.
How about we plant, trout, like 6-inch long trout, or
4-inch.
4-inch long swim or
Swim baits?
sunbill or
Bluegill,
bluegill.
right?
They don't need crappie. There's plenty of crappie, but bluegill or trout, and then they already plant so many a year. That would be no. You're missing the point.
Right.
They're planting 10 to 12 inchers. I want to plant 4 to 6 inchers.
Right.
I just want snack size.
I'm good with 10 to 12 inch trout.
But how much more of the bass level that you'll hit if you start with 4 to 6s?
Yeah, that's true.
What comments we got?
We got Big John says that's that's what makes Wheeler such a great fisherman. He is a big time goober, and then he also said,
But actually, I will say that. For that. He is such a fishing dork that's why he is so good and why you can't do anything to stop him.
100%.
And a lot of really good fishermen are that way. They're fishing dorks. They're constantly
They're obsessed.
like they'll literally see
Yeah.
something, like they're walking through the aisle at Home Depot and they see a tool and they're like, I wonder if I could do this with, like, it triggers something in fishing, and you're like, what? We're at Home Depot. What are you talking about?
right. He also said that Wheeler will dominate with a cane pole. You give him a
Well,
cane pole,
Doesn't
Yeah, I'm
matter.
pretty sure.
it doesn't matter.
I'm pretty sure if you told Wheeler you can only use a Barbie pole and a freaking little power bait knob, one of those little niblets of power bait, he'd still beat everyone.
Yeah. I bet when those new rules came out, he secretly had a smile on his face.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because he knew he's
Which
a top 3, probably not number 3 or number 2 scoper. And he also knows that he'll beat everybody without it.
Well,
Or
and
most
then-
people without it. And if you combine the two, I think he's just going to be even more dominant than he was before.
he has won a BFL, which if you follow tournament series at all, BFL is, or All American, you don't just stumble into that. You have to get there. And he won it before scope existed.
Yep.
So you're telling me that guy can't do something outside of scoping? No, he's just been using scoping to boost himself up.
Marlon says one of his kids had an incident, Code 2 incident, on an island at Comanche, and it'll be forever be called the Boo Boo Island.
There's an island. There is an island on Comanche that's called Boo Boo Island.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it's actually, we have a different name for it, but the guy who was doing that, I called him Bobo.
Yeah. Yeah. That happened. Tom Smith came in and said, what do you guys think about the MLF spot poaching in the tournament?
If you research the spot poaching, all the at least the most current Poche Avena one, Avena actually put out a video with waymarks during practice at the same spot.
They're time stamped. When he
Timestamp, you
enters
cannot
those
change.
waypoints, they tell you exactly what time. He
You
was
cannot change that.
sitting in his boat making the video. He pulled up his graph and showed when he put those waypoints into his graph, and it
Now,
showed up for his practice period.
I will say this. One of the main reasons why I don't like them going to St. John's is that all the fish get caught from basically one major area and an alternate secondary area. And they're all tripping over each other. If you watch the live footage of that, you see Wheeler talking about how there's so many other boats in his area, and he's trying to figure out how to catch just enough and yada, like going through the game of it. And he's talking about like 20 other boats, and 15 of them aren't even his competitors.
Right.
Poche and Avena had the same thing where they're at because that's where it was going off in that pool.
Right.
So the fact that they were able to trip on each other, I mean, it's going to
It
happen.
happens all the time, and it always has. It's nothing.
And it
new.
happens every time they go to St. John's or.
It happens. It happens everywhere. It happens at the local level. It happens professionally. Guys find the same stuff. They get on the same stuff. Living Clear Lake. Like,
Reminds me a lot of Clear Lake.
Clear Lake.
They go where they go in a lot of places, and you're always going to have that.
My problem with Clear Lake is Rubbin's racing, and I have troubles going to Rubbin places.
Hey,
I always want to find.
we
fish
might have
outside.
saw your buddy the other day.
Oh, did you? He's everybody's buddy.
Yes. Coach Miguel says,
the Z7 buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, C7 buddy went literally cut through everybody, pulls up onto where the guy was casting to, drops his trolling motor and spot locks.
Did you tell him I said hello?
I told him, I said, I'm pretty sure that's the guy.
that's the guy.
And he literally like weaved between the boats while they're fishing and then spot locks on top of where the guy was casting to. And I was like, good job, buddy.
Yeah, you did it.
I was like, yep, we're leaving.
Coach Miguel says yes, but the who you're talking about has never shown the time. If you look at his Instagram post, he made a point actual to not show the time. You could tell. So when he was showing the Instagram, he didn't show the time that he made the mark on there.
I thought it had the date
It
on
has
it.
the date on it.
It has the date
It
on it.
says February 10th. So regardless of the actual time, it was still in practice. He was there.
I think in all reality, the problem is they keep going to these places for alternate reasons. And it's so early in the year that it only pops off at certain times.
Yeah.
This goes back to what I was saying about not really being a fan of Wheeler. Like I appreciate him as the game, and I would gladly sit down with him for an hour and pick his brain.
I would want more than an hour.
I don't even care if it's 2 questions. I'll just pick
Okay.
his brain for a half a second. It'd be like I've literally been on the water at the same time as him on Chickamauga, where like I'm idling in and he's idling out, and I'm like, I'll never be as good as you. Like as I passed by, I literally was like, I'll never be as good as you.
None of us will.
No.
Never. But like, I wanted him to win St. John's, never turning on scope, just to prove once and for all. I mean, he did make it to the top 10.
Good.
But once and for all, I can still do this, and I never turned on scope. And I kind of wonder if that's part of the reason why he never turned on scope that whole event.
Possibly.
There was
Definitely the bite was probably in favor of really. It looked like they were fishing for spawners
And-
up on the bank.
And Drew Gill, who is known to be the #1 scope guy of all kinds, made it to 11th place, barely missed the cut, with only being able to use scope. Now, was Drew Gill, if Drew Gill could have used scope, would he have been in the top 10? More than likely.
So you're saying the guys who can catch them can catch them.
It doesn't matter if they have electronics or not. If they understand fishing, they understand fishing.
Agreed.
That's the end point of all of this. Are there some scope guys who drop down in the rankings? Yeah. Are there some guys who aren't scope that raised up? I personally think it's because they have a new outlook on things.
Sure.
I think it's because this whole time they've been, I can't beat these kids, I can't beat these kids, I can't beat these kids, to I have a chance now, and it like revitalized everything. Yes, Keith did apologize with a follow-up video saying that he was, what did he say in that video? I sent it to you. He basically apologized, but then he also kind of stuck to his guns in the same video.
A little bit. He did say he wanted to apologize for everything pretty much, and said he wanted to make friends. Or not make friends, but apologize
Make
to
good.
and all that. But I mean, in my opinion, his antics of filming a video and having him in the background and all that, it was just too much. So whatever you say now kind of is a wash when you did that for multiple days. So
True.
Poche may or may not have been involved in a lock accident. Oh, that's weird. It was a Florida event with Ish Monroe.
Yeah.
You don't root for Ish?
I absolutely root for Ish, but he doesn't fish in the circuit anymore.
Yeah.
He went to Bassmaster to qualify in the to get back into the elites because he was in the elites.
Right.
Another local though.
Another local.
I'll always vote for a local.
We got another local in the elites now too.
Who's that?
Andrew Loberg,
Andrew Lobrew.
rookie on the elite series now.
Yep.
Watch out for that guy.
You know, I'd like to see Ken Moff.
I don't know if
Stretch
he'll.
out.
I don't know if he'll actually step into it though. Like, there's a lot involved to go national like that. Like, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of time. I think he's got enough family going on here that why branch out?
Yeah,
He's
I get
successful.
it.
He's very, very successful
Very
local.
successful.
Like,
He has to travel still, right? Like on
Yeah.
the West Coast, we still got to
Yeah.
go. I think Bam's going all the way up into Washington or
Yeah.
at least Oregon,
Yes.
and they
Yeah.
got to go to Arizona. And that's a 14-hour drive, I think, when those 14, 17
Especially
hours,
towing
something
a
like
boat.
that. Towing a boat to Arizona, like that's a lot of travel.
and another angler that I'm just like shake hands with, and I was like, oh, I'll never be as good as you, but God, I wish to be.
Right?
like,
So
we just ran into him on Saturday at Fisherman's Warehouse, and
Yeah.
it was like, I just sat there like, man, if I could just get to your level, like that's my aspirations. I'd like to get there, but
I did ask some good questions. I did ask some good questions. But like Ken Mott, he's come out to the club and talked with us, right? Like
yeah, doing like a club
club
for our club meeting, coming out and doing guest speaker stuff.
Yeah, great guy. I'd like to go out and fish one day. Just I'd actually pay him like to fish one day.
Especially on Delta.
Delta, right? Like
How do you do that?
I don't even want to take a rod.
Yeah.
Back to a
You
previous
just-
conversation. I'm not taking a rod. I'm
you just do you. I'll watch and I'll ask questions.
Yeah.
Right?
I
But
don't,
that's
I don't
like
even
same
have to
thing-
ask questions. I'll put duct tape over my mouth, but I'm not bringing a rod and I'm watching.
But it's the same thing like when we went with Oliver, right? Like
Yeah.
we went with Oliver,
Oliver
9, Big Bass Dream. We went out with him at Clear Lake and we were like, we really don't care if we catch fish. Oh, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that?
Yeah, we had a good day that day, but he was like kind of setting up for that, and he's like, oh, you know, the bike kind of turned off for us and that, and I was like, I'm texting him, I was like, I don't care. Like,
Don't really care.
I don't care. He's like,
We're still in the 20-pound range, right? Like,
Yeah.
we caught 20 pounds,
that
but
was a couple of years ago.
yeah, but just asking the questions, those questions that you don't typically get the answers to,
The straight answers
the
to.
straight answers to. He was laying it out like a great guide service, right? Like, but I would say that if you're new and going into something like that, like you're not going to get anything out of that.
Yeah, your question base that you're gonna ask is gonna be low enough that I feel like you could do like the club level stuff to like build your base and
Yeah.
then step into that guide and kind of like pick those extra pieces up.
That extra part was the main thing that I got from that whole thing. Was it worth it? I think every penny.
Yeah.
Good thing you paid for the penny. Rachel's watching.
Matlock says Brian Smith, another local out of Roseville. Yeah, he's in the leads. We're about to find out. I think literally tomorrow will be his first day. I am rooting for Brian Smith.
He's been on the leads for a couple of years now.
Brian Smith has?
Yes.
I'm thinking of somebody else.
Well,
Oh, no. Yeah. Brian Smith has been on.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of then?
This is the new guy.
The only new guy from the West Coast is Andrew Loberg.
Loberg.
And then,
That's what it is.
and then
It's
Cody
Loberg.
Meyer is
Sorry.
like a rookie, but not.
But doesn't qualify for a rookie.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Cody Meyer
Yeah.
cannot win Angler of the Year
Right.
because he already has enough money going into it.
Rookie of the year. Yeah.
Cody Meyer is a
Oh,
savage.
he's so good.
He literally was like, okay, I'm done with MLF. I'm going to go run the Opens for 1 year, qualify easily running for AOY, and then just walk into the elites.
Right.
Like, dude's a stick.
Yeah. Two of the West Coast guys last year, both the ones we talked about, Loberg and Cody, they both qualified for the elites on the Opens, which a lot of people say is even harder than.
Yeah, they call it the gauntlet for a reason.
It's very, very difficult to do that, and they both did that in 1 year. So
Yeah.
that speaks to the quality of angler we have on the West Coast, and honestly
How
to our
versatile.
fisheries too. They can develop somebody like that, two
And
guys like that.
And the very last tournament they had, they moved the lakes because of that hurricane. And they were able to keep up their consistency, even moving lakes. Now, did they move to a spotted bass fishery, which would play towards a California angler? I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Especially Cody Meyer.
Yeah.
What else? There you go. Coach Miguel, how much weight do you think it's going to take to win Berryessa BBT this weekend? I honestly think that you better have 25 plus to win it. With the weather setup, there's a chance of a 30 plus bag. This guy was thinking that it might take 40, but I think that's a stretch.
I've been fishing at Berry. I've been stuck on Berry because of the muscle stuff, but that's my home lake. But I will be fishing both of the BBTs coming up. I think it's going to take at least low to mid 30s to win. And it's going to sound crazy, but if you see somebody come across that stage with 40 or almost 40, it wouldn't surprise me. It's been that good. Honestly, the last year has been really good, but this winter has just been phenomenal, and they're on the move right now. So it really wouldn't surprise me if you saw a really big stringer come in.
Yeah, I could see the potential for a big sack. Check range, low check range, 18-ish, probably.
Yeah.
17, 18.
Yeah, minimum, I think. But
Somewhere around
So
there.
you're saying minimum
low check
it's
range.
weather dependent. You never know what these fish are going to do.
Right now, the weather's setting up really good for this weekend.
It did rain today.
It was warm still, though.
It was
It
still-
didn't
didn't-
rain, but it
it
did rain today.
And it didn't rain much.
No, it was like a light drizzle. That's still enough to change things.
But the rest of the week is into the weekend is supposed to be mid to high 60s.
I don't know, but I'm just waiting for the freak weather change that always happens right before a club tournament to mess up everything on
It always happens,
on Clear Lake.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be big weights this weekend, probably the following on Berry.
Well,
Probably on Clear Lake too, as well, from what I'm hearing.
I'm looking at like even this weekend and then next weekend. Next weekend is even better for the warmth.
I will say this. If you want to know what weekend is going to be the best between this weekend, next weekend, and all of that, I'm on call, not this one, but next one. So the on-call one, which is the very first weekend of March, will be lights out amazing. Everyone will wreck them.
You want to go fishing? He's on call.
I'll be stuck here. I'll be
We
stuck.
can go fishing, but
I'll be stuck in this house with my phone staring at it
Send you pictures.
while
Yeah,
everybody's
we'll send you pictures.
while everybody's sending pictures of 5 to 12 pounders.
Do you want to send you pictures of fish, or do you want to send you pictures of when we're having lunch at Richmond Park?
I'll be crying either way. It doesn't matter. Hamster123, do you guys have any aspirations to fish tournaments outside the club? He does.
I dabble in it here and there.
I dabble.
He's dabbled in it. I have done like frog tournaments and stuff like that.
That would
Realistically,
be called dabble.
realistically, I know I'm low check range 90% of the time.
You don't know unless you do it.
Right?
He thinks I'm more than low check range, but I think I'm low check range.
After
And
last
it's kind of hard to jump into it with low check range.
After
knowing that
last
I'm gonna
week,
lose
last
money on
week, live when we were talking about the BAM Pro-Am thing and what's going on, I'm actually thinking about going that way.
Hey,
it. You never know
if you don't mind
until you
being in
try.
the back of a boat, I'd give it a go.
Coach says, well, crud, I can't even fit 40 pounds on my live well. We'll be out there. I'll tell you what, Coach,
You'll be surprised what you can get in there.
if you caught 40 pounds, I guarantee you're going to figure out how to keep those suckers
Stuff's
alive.
in there.
You will figure it out. I don't care if you be using your ball cap to lay water into that live well just to get a little bit more in there. You'll be so dang happy it won't matter. And more props to you. If you can make it happen, I want to watch that video.
That's when you call Randy and be like, hey, I need to weigh in early.
Yeah. Hey, when can you open scales? Because I got some fish to drop.
Hey, Coach, no lie, I have a garbage can that I like a little can for the bathroom that I put in my boat for trash. I dumped that out and filled it up with water and put it in the live wells just to give it an extra boost of fresh oxygenated water.
Yeah,
in my live wells.
In your boat, I don't know where the God, I really don't know if you could fit 40 pounds in there. Is there a locker in his? Is there a locker that's watertight that you can convert and just dump water with a bucket in? You can make it happen.
Yeah, you can make that.
I don't think they're gonna crack 40. I don't even know if they'll crack 30. I think they'll crack 25.
I promise you it'll take more than 30.
I think they'll crack 25.
I'm telling you that
I don't know if they'll crack 30.
At a Bass Club Open tournament, I've seen two fish come in, won the tournament with two fish. It was a 15 and a 12.
They live there.
They live there.
Yeah.
The guy was super tight-lipped about what he said.
A lot of big fish being caught there right now. If it sets up, it's fishing, man. You never know until you get out there. It can change from day to day.
Yeah.
But from the amount of big fish coming out of that place right now, I wouldn't be surprised.
Anything could happen. The watercolor, the warming, right? Because the watercolor is going to help because it's a little stained everywhere. I was out there Monday. It's a little stained everywhere.
That'll warm
So
up faster.
with that sun hitting it, it's going to warm up faster no matter what, right? And just the spots, and we were talking about it earlier, the spots and smallies, they're going to spawn earlier. They spawn at what, like 55 degrees?
That's what
And it's close.
Yeah.
Why are we going to Clear Lake?
I don't know.
Because it's a
you already
club
know I like
tournament.
The
Beverly
whole
Hills
club
Adventure.
wants to go to Clear Lake always in February and March, but they don't realize you got one of the best spring fisheries right here.
Yeah.
I wish we could split that up. Just do one and one.
I love Barry.
Me too.
Coach,
Year round.
you're going to do just fine. I guarantee it. I can't wait to watch the video. Can't wait.
It's gonna be fun. Everyone's itching to get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
it's
long winter.
First of the season.
I haven't fished a tournament in a long time, man.
Right? What? We couldn't fish December?
We haven't fished
No.
since November.
Yeah.
We haven't fished a tournament. Oh, dang, I didn't
Yeah.
think about that.
It's been a long
We
time.
haven't fished a tournament since
Comanche.
mid-November.
Comanche, November.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Ugh.
You won
It
that
better
one.
be better than that one.
You won that
It was a
one.
grind out.
But you won it.
I did
I'm
win,
tired of hearing you talk
but it was a
about
grind out.
See? Right? You're
Does
with us,
Comanche-
right?
Does Comanche suck?
Honestly,
Are you-
I haven't put enough time.
Comanche, choose it or lose it.
I haven't put enough time on that leg to really have a super big opinion. I've had good days, like 20-pound bags there, so I don't.
It's like a mixture of Hogan and Barry, but like not.
Hey.
Somebody said that it fishes a lot like Folsom.
I believe it. I'll tell you this: it's better than the Delta for me.
Yeah.
We drove
Okay,
by
respect.
that. We drove by Folsom this last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, in between Tackle Warehouse and Bass Pro,
Right.
we stopped at a lunch place, and then I told him to Google how to get there, and it took us like
Right by.
we were stair stepping and all that, and then all of a sudden we pop out. I'm like, oh, that's Folsom.
Yeah.
Look good out there. There's people fishing the dam too.
That lake's been fishing great too.
Sean says, what launch is the tournament out of? Coach Miguel says Pleasure Cove.
For the BBT, yeah.
For BBT.
What else? What was the other one?
He says,
Yeah, whatever you got to do to keep those fish alive, ice chest.
yeah. If you got a bucket, throw the water there, like we were talking earlier.
If that fish fits in it and you just keep it in fresh water, that's all that matters. Who cares how it gets to the scales? It just got to be alive.
Right? Yeah. Good times.
There's no seals, so you can hang it out. You can hang it on a stringer out the back if you need to.
My projection is the next 2 weeks
Are going to be
everywhere
everywhere is going to be on fire.
is going to be. You better be out on the water somewhere.
Yes.
If it's Berryessa, if it's Comanche, well, you can't go on Comanche, but
Anywhere you
Berryessa,
can
Clear
fish
Lake,
it up.
right? Like
Yeah.
where you could get a boat out there, get out there because it's a warming trend. It's the beginning of the year. This is the first warming trend of the year.
Sure. We've had high water for the last couple of years, which is weird to say.
Right. Like Berryessa is like 4 foot over.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff that's in the water right now
Everything's in
that
the water.
yeah, everything.
Because it's not normally in the water.
Yeah, everything's in the water.
Including the road to get to the houseboats at Markley Cove.
Yeah.
That's in the water.
Yeah,
Water too.
I actually drove my boat right up to it, and I was like, I might be able to get my truck through there. I looked at it on Monday.
I want to catch one off the road just to say it.
Well, I've caught fish off a road before, but
No, that road.
that road,
You're like, honey, see that spot right there on the road? Caught a fish right
Yeah.
there. Like, it's a road. I still caught one there. It was bedding. What was that? I saw something about the open.
Reaper's Open asking Hamster 123 is asking Reaper's Open. This year is a 2-day event.
1 day.
Since no, it's still going to be a 1 day, but it is going to be
That would be cool to
That would
like
be
2
pretty
days,
cool.
Saturday and Sunday.
yes.
Have
but-
individual weights Saturday and Sunday.
That'd just be more work for you. But
Oh, it's a ton of work.
I would-
Yeah, everything would be set up for day 2.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to say anything.
Wouldn't have to-
But
Raffle prizes would be a little harder. Though.
Come on.
yeah,
2 days.
It will be the Saturday before Thanksgiving though,
yes, that is the plan.
and
Hopefully, they don't shut the lake down again on us. But yes, that is the plan.
that was a little frustrating.
We've already got it lined out and permit already being worked on, and
Yep.
insurance already
Submitted
paid for it. So yes, the first Saturday before Thanksgiving,
The Saturday before, yeah.
Saturday.
It'll almost always from now on it'll be the Saturday before Thanksgiving. It's kind of the last. We're hoping to be the last kick for tournament anglers, and it's on Berryessa
Which is
in
great
that time of
to
the
fish.
year.
Great time.
Yes.
Oh, the last time we were able to have it, it was mid-20s to win it,
It was higher.
and then there was like multiple 20 sacks that was weighed in.
20, no, 20.
Yeah, somewhere in that
23,
area,
24,
23ish,
yeah.
somewhere around there.
Fish is great, late in the fall and all through the winter.
That is my favorite time of Berryessa.
Same.
Is that time of the year, especially when you find that green grass.
Which is everywhere there right now.
Yeah, but not in the winter.
No, it's everywhere right now. If you find it, it's there.
What's Coach got? And then we should probably wrap this up because I'm getting hungry.
You are.
What did you say last time? I don't know. You 3 something food. What English? Not non-English. Did you say last time? What Coach say?
He says fished.
No, he's got bigger words. There's more words above that. 3 baits.
Have any of you
Can't
guys
breathe.
faced Lake McClure?
Yes. I went to McClure this summer.
That's my son's and I first lake that we've topped 75 with our first time.
75 fish. Oh,
Top
Top
75.
can I read that?
McClure.
Oh, he's fishing the
Okay. Lake McClure and the Narrows of Berryessa. Same damn thing. You're looking for
Bro, we need to go out in Ned Rig, bro.
You're looking for the rock humps that
I'll just
are
go
off.
home.
I know you have side scan. So just side scan the banks. You're looking for rock points, and then if you're like looking down the bank and then you see like a rock outcropping, you're going for that, like stuff like that. I think McClure is soon. So you're gonna be looking at staging points. I don't know what the water level is or water temperature is.
I don't know what kind of waste it takes there, but it's usually not.
It's not crazy. You don't like the average fish there is like pound to 2 pounds.
Yeah. They got largemouth? I'm assuming.
Yes.
If they have largemouth and trout, I would just try to catch one of those and then catch a limit. Because pretty good.
So there's an area that's a sunken forest on McClure off of the north end.
I know.
Play with those trees. I don't know what the water level is. That's the biggest problem. What's this?
I'm 3 or 4 baits deep.
3.
3.
He can't even count.
I can't count.
Too many baits.
Coach says, "Good Lord, no more drinking for him." That's what makes it fun, Coach. Hey, Coach.
All right, so
hold on.
Okay, so we're deep
hold
it
on.
up. So I wanna actually start a tournament series where it's kind of take off from Tom Castledine used to have a podcast that he would call Bass Angler Management, and he would get all of his people from the opens to sit around and BS basically. So it's kind of like this setup, but the requirement is everybody has to be 2 baits deep. I got too much in there. Everybody has to be 2 baits deep so that they say what they really want to say.
Matlock says 2 bait maximum for Brian, and Rachel agrees. Coach, we need to get you out here on the live.
Yeah, we need Coach on the line.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, it'd be hell.
Yeah. Let me know what you want to talk about. Open forum.
Yeah. Open forum. Let's do
Talk
something,
about
Coach.
anything. I don't give a crap.
All of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll all be here. We'll do this.
That
He says 100%.
you should be cut off?
100% he should be cut off. He's probably saying 100% cutting me off.
All right. On that note, as this train has fully derailed off again.
Hey Rachel, you and Brooke gonna come down and drive my truck back or what? What are we doing here?
But luckily we're going to get food, so
Yes,
we should be
we're
good
going
on
to
that.
get food.
We'll figure it out.
If you guys have any suggestions of live topics, hit me up down below. We have a couple of ideas that we have lined out, but we're always looking for new ones and definitely welcome them because they're getting hard to come across. Hit them up down below. You can always hit me up on Instagram with all those recommendations. I want to thank Corey for joining in his second one, even if he's camera shy.
Thanks for having me.
Bro, it's always a great time to hang out with you.
And this guy, he's not camera shy or bait shy.
No,
Definitely loaded up on baits and not afraid of the camera.
no. I don't care.
That's a you problem, not a me problem. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. We're gonna go grab some food. I hope you get them. And
What? You messed that up.
until next time, I hope you get them.
There you go.